Hello beautiful people from the internet, it is Connie over here, and today I'm going to be doing a little story time smoke sesh, I guess. I'm going to be telling you guys a story that I've actually already told, and funny enough, it was the first video I ever recorded for this channel, although it's now up for only members of the channel because I am deadly embarrassed of the way I was acting on that video. I am going to be retelling the story of why I started smoking cigarettes, and I am very excited because this is a story that I love telling. I don't know, I just like telling stories in general. So I'm gonna be smoking a John Player special. Maybe I'll smoke two, I still don't know. We'll see how long the story goes for. And yeah, let's light this up and I'll tell you the story of why I started smoking cigarettes. So for a little context or backstory maybe, I was always that kid that, oh my god, so much smoke. I was always kind of that kid that always said, I don't want to smoke cigarettes because smoking cigarettes is dumb. I had both my parents that were smokers, and because of that, I didn't want to smoke myself because I just thought it wasn't something that I liked doing or being around of, or just the smell of the cigarette was not something that I really enjoyed that much. So up until I was like 20 years old, that's what I've always told myself. I've always been like, I don't like cigarettes. I, of course, didn't mind other people smoking cigarettes, you know, it's okay, you do you, but I, for myself, didn't really want to smoke cigarettes. And during high school, especially from 16 to 18, so like 11th to 12th grade, most of my friends at school started smoking cigarettes, and they normally asked me, you know, do you want to try? Are you interested in smoking cigarettes? Why don't you smoke? And I was always like, no, I don't want to try, you know, I just don't really like the smell. I don't think it's something that I'd like to do for myself. And yeah, I was never peer pressured or anything in high school. People just asked me if I wanted to try because I would go on smoke breaks with my friends, except I wouldn't smoke. I would just like hang out with them, you know. And so throughout high school, that was always like my approach to cigarettes, and up until I was 20, I was like, I don't want to smoke. It was pretty basic to me, I guess, pretty simple. And then I went to college, university, I guess. And I was in sociology my first year, which was the only year that I did because I dropped out after that. And there was this girl that was in my group of friends. I had like two girls and one guy, and those were like my group of friends. And one of the girls and the guy smoked roll-it cigarettes. They would roll their own cigarettes, but then this one other girl, we'll call her B, she smoked Chesterfield Blacks, like packed Chesterfield Blacks. And at this time, I was like really amazed by her just because she had a personality that I really enjoyed. She was really, really calm and just stress-free kind of person. Her hair is like blonde and curly, and she was just like super, super chill and nice, and I kind of had a little crush on her, not gonna lie. But yeah, she smoked packed cigarettes, which was something that, like, most of my friends smoked rolled cigarettes. I was kind of intrigued by why she smoked packed cigarettes, since it is not as common here in Europe. I live in Portugal, for context. So one day, you know, she asked me if I wanted to smoke because they were always smoking, like on the breaks. My two other friends would roll their cigarettes and she would take a Chesterfield Black out of her pack, which is what she liked to smoke. And one day she just asked me, you know, do you want to try a cigarette? And I was like, I don't know, I felt like I kind of wanted to impress her, and now that I look back, it's like, why would that impress anyone? Like me saying yes to trying a cigarette, like that's really, really not a thing that someone is impressed by, you know, maybe even the opposite, but at this time I didn't really know. I feel like I was either 19 or 20 at this point, I'm not sure, but I just said yes, you know, I wanted to try. But note, at this point, I didn't know what inhaling was, or that you had to inhale. I thought that the way people smoked cigarettes was they would leave the smoke in their mouth and then exhale it, just like this. So, when she asked me if I wanted to try and I said yes, that's basically how I smoked the whole Chesterfield Black that she gave me. I didn't know that you were supposed to inhale, which, looking back, maybe that was a little silly of me, but no one has ever explained that to me, and I don't know, I just didn't know, you know. So I smoked the whole Chesterfield Black without inhaling, and I was like, this is not really for me. I don't really like the flavor because I was not feeling any buzz or anything because I was not inhaling the smoke. And she was like, okay, whatever, like, we just move on with our lives. I eventually buy a pack of Chesterfield Blacks that I keep on my bag just so that, because I really wanted to be that person in college where people are like do you have a cigarette? And I would always have a cigarette because I didn't smoke, but I had a pack of Chesterfield Blacks just so that if people asked me if I had a cigarette, I was that person. I don't know, I've always just been kind of a people pleaser, and everyone smoked, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy a pack of Chesterfield Blacks, which were the ones that she liked, so that if she ever wants one, or any other person in university wants one, I can give them one, you know? So I had a pack of Chesterfield Blacks, and I gave like 2 away, and I eventually dropped out. So it's the summer after I dropped out of college, and I'm with my now boyfriend, but we were hanging out at the time, we were talking, we were going on like night car rides and like staring at the ocean and just being in the beach at 3 a.m. because, I don't know, we were like in love or something. Getting to know each other, right? And one night he's like, you know, I've never tried cigarettes, I never tried smoking. Do you have cigarettes? I don't know, I feel like right now maybe would be a good time to try because I am with you and I trust you and it's an experience that I want to have and I just want to know how it feels or if I even like it. And I had this pack of Chesterfield Blacks on me. So I tell him, you know, I have Chesterfield Blacks, and he was just like, you know, just give me one, we'll light one, like we'll each light one and we'll just try it. Oh, I forgot a crucial part of this story. While I was still in university, I had this other guy friend who was the person that taught me what inhaling was. So basically the way I learned how to inhale was because every time he would inhale his cigarette, he would do this sound. Like, I don't know, he would always do that sound. So one day I just asked him, you know, why do you do this sound every time you are inhaling, like every time you are smoking a cigarette? And he's like, oh, because I am inhaling the smoke to my lungs, and that is just the way that I found is best for me to inhale. So he had like a vocal inhaling like style, I guess, and that's how I understood that you are supposed to inhale the smoke to your lungs. Not supposed, but if you want to feel the buzz, and that's what the majority of people do, they just inhale. So at this point I already knew how to inhale, I just had never tried it because I never got around to try one of my cigarettes that I had, like I had a pack, right? So back to where I was with my boyfriend, we were like at a beach, it was 3 a.m., just staring at the ocean, and we decided to try a cigarette. And that was the first time I ever tried inhaling a cigarette. I was like smoking it, and on the first hit, I inhaled the cigarette and I just feel like a cloud take over my brain. I just felt super, super calm, super at peace. I felt no anxiety at all because I'm a very anxious person, and I feel like my thoughts are always running at like 100 miles per hour and super, super fast inside my head. I always have multiple trains of thoughts going inside my head. And as soon as I took that hit of that cigarette, that was the first time that I ever felt no thoughts at all, and I was amazed by that even being a possibility. So I think I'm gonna light up another one. You know what? Why not? Why not? I never do this, so might as well. You know, it's a little treat, a little day. For context, I only smoke 1 cigarette a day, but today I'm telling a story, so I feel like smoking another one, so let's go. So I inhaled the cigarette, and I'm, for the first time, feeling this sensation of peace, relaxation, zero thoughts in my brain, just like a fat cloud of, I don't know, smoke took over my brain, literally. And I was just amazed by the possibility of not feeling 300,000 thoughts at the same time. And I remember that he enjoyed it, but he was like, I don't think this is for me, so he never really smoked again. But I was like, you know what, maybe this is something that I can do kind of as self-medication, which is really not ideal for anyone to be doing. But I was like, what if I just smoke a cigarette here and there when I'm feeling a little bit more anxious than normal, or when I'm feeling that I have a lot of thoughts and I want to just feel a little bit at peace or calm. So that is exactly what I did. I, at that point, was smoking like 1 cigarette every 4 days, every time I just felt more anxious than normal, or I was just feeling a little bit more of a rush of thoughts than normal. I would smoke a cigarette, and that was not really that often. Sometimes I would only smoke 1 cigarette per week, and I kind of had that routine for like, since from June to November of 2021, I kind of was smoking 1 cigarette a week. And then, at this point, I was watching Jacob Jones. He's another cigarette YouTuber here on YouTube. And he did these videos where he was like just smoking and talking about a random topic. And I was like, this is really interesting, because every time I felt alone or I felt like I wanted someone to smoke with, I would just put one of these videos up and I would just smoke with him. So around October, I'd say 2021, October, November, was when I started smoking like 1 cigarette every 2 days or every 3 days. And then I decided to start my own channel, and I started smoking like 1 cigarette every 2 days and making videos of my own. And I kind of started having cigarettes as kind of a daily routine, or every 2 days kind of routine, where I would just chill for a little bit and just have a little buzz, feel less thoughts in my brain. So yeah, that was basically how I started smoking, or why I started smoking. And I've been able to keep it at right now 1 cigarette a day. 2 years ago or 1 year and a half ago, I was smoking like 1 cigarette every 2 days, and I've since then upped to 1 cigarette a day. Although sometimes I have some day breaks here and there. I don't smoke for 2 days sometimes, or 3 days, because I just don't feel like it, honestly. But it's been an addition to my life ever since summer of 2021. So that's basically how I started smoking cigarettes. I think it's a very interesting story. I always like hearing stories of how other people started smoking. Sometimes it was just, you know, I saw someone smoking, they gave me a cigarette, I tried it, I liked it, and I started smoking as well. So I feel like those are like the most common ways people start smoking cigarettes. So that's how I started. And the main reason why I'm recreating this video is because this was, as I said, the first video on my channel. The thing is, the way I was acting in that video, which is now only for members, as I've said, I was acting so not like myself. I thought that to have a YouTube channel and to do YouTube videos, you needed to have like this very fun and upbeat personality that I felt like I had to force. And in those first videos that I made, I was forcing my personality a lot and like trying to be someone that I wasn't, and trying to be like really, really upbeat and like fast and like talking really loud. So I just decided, you know, I'm gonna put this video just for members on private, and I'm just gonna recreate it because I just don't feel like that was me at all. But yeah, if you wanted to know how I started smoking cigarettes, or why I started smoking cigarettes, that's basically the reason. And I think it's very interesting because it was kind of a train of things that led me to it. Like first meeting that girl in university that had cigarettes, that led me to buy my first pack so I could give her cigarettes because I was secretly having a little crush on her. And then seeing my other guy friend at university and learning how to inhale through his inhaling. And then just that point at the beach where I decided to inhale for the first time and I enjoyed it. So yeah. I'm actually not gonna finish this cigarette to like the end of it, because usually, because I only smoke 1 cigarette a day, I get very nicotine sick if I smoke more than 1 cigarette. It is what it is, you know. I'm not gonna complain about it. Helps me save money and also prevent a little bit of my health. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed hearing this story, and I hope you come back to watch more. Bye!